I always knew this day would come. The last review of 2017. Let's rock! Bright is directed by David Ayer, who is known for Fury and Suicide Squad, and it stars Will Smith and Joel Edgerton. Set in a world where mystical creatures live side by side with humans, a human cop is forced to work with an orc to find a weapon that everyone is prepared to kill for. Let's start with Will Smith. As always, he was great. If you'd asked me about 7 years ago to name my top 5 actors of all time, I can guarantee you he would have been on that list. But I don't know, these last 5-6 years he has chosen mediocre films. None of them have really been that good. He's been good in them, but he's just been surrounded by loads of crap. So I was kind of curious to see if this one would be any different. Unfortunately, that trend continues. The costumes and the makeup for the orcs and the elves, that was really cool. I'm glad they went for practical effects and not making everything CGI like everything does these days. Did they go a little bit too far with the prosthetics? Yeah. Like, for instance, all the orc characters, none of the actors could really do that much emotion with their face just because there was so much on there. There were some really good scenes and moments and sequences that involved all the other cops in this film and how they felt about Will Smith and Joel Edgerton's character. The tension and the acting was really good, but then all of a sudden they started throwing in some one-liners and all these comedic moments that just did not need to be there. This really should have been a serious film, which makes it so much more frustrating whenever there was a comedic moment, which, by the way, none of the comedy works. I'd say I probably gave a very slight chuckle probably about 5% of the time, which is not good. It's not good. And the pacing was just bad. The first act took way too long to get going. The second act started strong, was actually the best moment in the entire film, but then it just lasted for way too long, and then the third act was just all over the place. It was a mess. They tried having too many gangs and groups chasing them when it really should have just been one, because you never feel very attached to any particular group. If you had cut at least 2 of them out, it would have made for a much more tighter film, because you could have easily shaved off 30 minutes. And then the villain. Oh my god, the villain. Another one we can add to the weak list for 2017. This has been a really bad year for villains. Just putting that out there. What can I tell you about her? She was highly trained. She killed quite a few guys. That's about all I can say, really. Oh yeah, the entire film she keeps mentioning something about the Dark Lord, or various characters mention the Dark Lord, who we never find out who the hell that is. I think you see it spray painted on some wall at the very beginning of the film in the montage for the opening credits. Maybe, I'd probably have to go back and rewatch that. Pretty sure that's who you see. But that's as far as it goes, other than mentioning the Dark Lord, whoever that is. This villain, she doesn't actually even speak that much. I think most of her lines come in the very last act, and it's like 3 lines, which I don't even remember, and I watched this film about 6 hours ago, so yeah. There are 3 moments where someone, I think it's a different person each time, but someone is yelling at Will Smith, and then he goes something like, "Listen to me, listen to me, no I ain't shine up, now listen to me." That's just bad writing. You can do that once, yes, but you don't do that 3 times in the same movie. And I'm pretty sure 2 of them are even in the same scene. It's just lazy writing, and it does not help with the pacing. There are also some moments where orcs are talking to other orcs and elves are talking to other elves. They're talking in their common tongue, so they're talking Elvish and Orcish. And for whatever reason, they're having a conversation, they're talking in their language, and then suddenly they'll switch to English. Why did they mix it up? They're not talking to a human. They should just be staying in their language. It made no sense. If they're having a conversation and they're starting in their own language, keep in their own language. They're not just going to suddenly switch for a line or 2 and then switch back whenever they want. Come to think about it, they only really spoke in the English language in these conversations when it was a really tense moment, so there was yelling or there was some action going on. It's like they didn't think the audience would be able to read the subtitles while watching the action. But we can. So yeah, I would just put that down as bad writing. And finally, the final act, it lacks any real direction. This might be considered a minor spoiler. I'm keeping it vague, so hopefully not. Basically, they're running place to place. They have this really lackluster final fight. And there's a reveal for one of the characters. I think they're going for a big surprise here, but I predicted it in the first act. I think most people will predict it in the first act. So I don't know why you save it for the last 15 minutes for a very quick scene. And then this was followed by an overlong epilogue, which was basically just improvised rambling. So overall, what would I say about Bright? Are the critics being a bit overcritical of this film? Yes, they're being a little bit too harsh. There is a good film somewhere underneath all the problems. There are moments, especially towards the beginning of the second act, where you are on the edge of your seat, you are with these characters. But then its unfocused narrative means that these scenes play out for far too long, or they start trying to put comedy in there, which is just not working at all. And it just entirely brings you out the movie. You're looking at your watch. I know I don't have a watch, but hypothetically, you're looking at your watch and you're just waiting for the film to end and it's just not ending. I would give Bright a 5 out of 10. I'd say to people, unless you're really curious about this film, to just give it a miss. Because even though it does have its moments, there's just too many problems, and by the next day, you're not going to remember any of it. So you'd find something better to watch. So yeah, that's my final review of 2017. It's been a good ride. I've only been doing this for about 5 or 6 months, but I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying talking to you guys. I'm enjoying meeting new friends online. I'm enjoying finding all these different channels. It's what I'm basically saying is it's been enjoyable. My next video will likely be up in early January. I've got 3 planned. Not filmed any of them yet, but they're gonna be, one's gonna be on my plans for the channel for this coming year. Another one is going to be my top 10 films of 2017. And the third one is going to be a Blu-ray update video because my collection video got a lot more views than I was expecting. It's past 1,000, so thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. Seriously, I was only expecting like 20 people to watch that. So yeah, definitely exceeded my expectations there. A lot. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you've seen the film, write your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're new here, help me reach 100 subscribers. We are so close. Hit that subscribe button so you can see the next video that I put online. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, have a happy Monday. And if you're going out for New Year's, stay safe.